it's wrong, but half the people do it. As an individual, people will sometimes say once they cheat, they're always a cheater. Some say that some of the qualities that make up a person, could cause the person to do so or incline the person to want to cheat more so often than the next person. And some, men carry more testosterone than women, so they say men are more prone to be cheating on women more so than women cheat on men, but that could be debatable. And, and because if you think about it, and that brings me to the next part is, if your significant other and you are away from each other a lot, but like you are put yourself, man or woman, in a situation where you're constantly around other women all the time, putting yourself in vulnerable situations. And I think it's important that you try to, if you feel it's wrong and you really love that person, then you keep yourself out of those situations. But that's, they say that some men, some women, depending on the situation, can cause that person to cheat. And, they even kind of going along with the percentage of people that say it's wrong, and this can go for them as well. People have religious beliefs that they think that it's wrong for a man and a woman to even have the urge to want to have a sexual relation with that person. So, they feel wrong for even like having that feeling, but at the same time, that sometimes that always doesn't hold that person back, even though they know back their mind they feel it's wrong. And people, maybe the guy or the girl is unsatisfied with the majority of the actions that happen on a day-to-day basis, that they take place within the relationship when they do interact with each other. They have a high conflict, they have mismatched personalities. Maybe their sex life is boring. Maybe it's not boring to one, but it's been boring to the other. And it can be situational, like constantly being put in, and I said, like again, being put in vulnerable situations, or maybe you guys don't make time for yourselves to give yourselves that time just being alone. Yes, it's important, and maybe you guys have been together, but I think in it, and I don't think, I know a lot of people, forget to spend that time with each other. And then when you talk about it and you kind of put it back out there, like if you think like, yeah, just because you have these kids together, like, yeah, you love each other, but your kids aren't you. And, you aren't your kids. And, like, you guys are all individuals. So it's important that you're still spending that love and keeping that bond close with you two, because then you get, again, more vulnerable. And then if that person, again, is put in a situation where they're gonna be with other women or other men, and then it's gonna be tempting. And we're all humans, and we act on our behavior sometimes and our instincts and our physical attractions, and happens. And motivations, like we have lack of love with that person, or maybe there's neglect in the relationship, there's abuse, there's that can be a whole different story. Maybe there's not enough variety, that person needs more fun in the relationship, so that kind of leads to like the sex life. Or maybe they don't have any social relationship, there's low commitment with that person, and that person has already cheated, so they feel like, oh well, I'm just going to cheat too, and then it goes back and forth. Your self-esteem, the other person's self-esteem, your self-esteem, you guys both have to have a good level, a good self-esteem for each other. And or being angry or suspect, like I kind of mentioned before. And I think it's important, to keep that stuff in mind, but at the same time, don't focus on those things. Just remember that you don't ever want to, continue to put yourself in some situations that could get you caught up in cheating. And another thing that I wanted to kind of talk about in cheating, and I don't know how more relevant it is now, but it seems like because of technology, it seems that more students are cheating on their tests. And kids and teenagers, they cheat in relationships just like adults do, and but it's just more relevant to cheat in high school. They found ways to cheat in high school. This means no work for them and more time to have fun in school, more time to be with your peers and enjoy time in school. Some students get so overloaded with stress that they feel like they need to cheat or plagiarize, even being a straight A student. This is, this can be unhealthy in a sense. If you are a straight A student and you have a lot of pressure to, I'll talk a little bit more about that later. You have a lot of pressure to keep your grades up, and cheating maybe is the only option you feel in that moment. Every child knows that cheating is wrong. This is something that, we typically teach children that it's wrong. It's in every handbook. As soon as they start to read, we teach them not to do it. It's something that's always available to them every year. Most of the children that decide to to cheat are deeming it as legit. It's a rule, it's one rule that they try to get around when they think things are tough. They try to find the easy way out because they're kids and they want to have fun and they don't want to have to do it the hard way. And they find it's one, like I said, it's one rule for them to get around when things might seem tough or when they get assignments themselves that they don't feel like it's really adding any value to them at the time or it's really doing any good for them, because as a teenager you're like, oh, what am I going to do with algebra? Like, I don't really care. I'm going to cheat. And some kids could even, be blaming it on the teacher, which it could be valid for that. Maybe they study and they study and they study for these tests, and then, or, they study for these tests and they go to take the test and it's nothing what they studied on. And I know this has happened because it's happened to me before, and I know it's happened to others. That's just, they're inclined to do that because the teacher genuinely doesn't put what they say they're going to put on the test, and or maybe they just don't learn the way that the teacher is teaching them. That could also be it as well. Children with high expectations from their parents, kids who are not just praised for their effort and progress, but more so like, oh, you're so smart, like you get straight A's, like, pinpointing like all those, like, oh, good job on your A, rather than saying, oh, you're doing great. You're look at this progress that you're making. Little tiny progress is always important to be praising, and their effort, because then they feel more inclined to cheat at that point, so to speak, because they have that obligation in their eyes to, these high expectations to keep those grades up. And another thing with like teenagers just enjoy being more reckless. They don't know the consequences. Ideally, their brains aren't fully developed at that point, and that's been proven, and especially our frontal lobe area. And, they will test a lot of different things on what they can get away with, and, to get what they want. They're motivated to really have fun and get what they want. Their social status mean everything to them at this point in their lives. And if that's what everyone else is doing, then they feel inclined to do the same thing as well. Kids and teens are testing the waters, seeing what they can get away with. Again, it comes with having not a lot of fear. There's some, but not knowing, what their parents are going to do, because there's always new experiences in high school. And teachers have said that it started with social media and, for example, like reposting, sharing, and claiming it as their own. And this could actually be, suspected as plagiarism, and without them even really realizing it. And technology is becoming more popular and enabling the students to cheat. School is meant for some, not for others. You know what I mean? Like, an education is important. Like, everybody needs to be educated, and there's certain things that people are just better at learning, and people are, learn different ways. So sometimes homeschool is better, and it's harder for kids to cheat being homeschooled, and challenging themselves or being challenged by others, in which this inclines them to cheat. And it requires, this can require like unique maybe there's a project that requires unique abilities and talents, and they feel like they're being really challenged at that point, and they like it, but they're like, oh crap, like I need help, but I don't really want to ask for help, so I'm just gonna have somebody else kind of do it for me, kind of thing. Somebody I know what they're doing, and another thing is, to just remind these kids that, to be honest and always follow. This is something to, I found that motivating teenagers and motivating them to continue to always be honest and always follow goals and ambitions. It's not like, oh, hey, you need to get all these good grades and you do this. Like, no, if you continue to be happy and you follow your dreams while you're in school and you're ambitious, and whether you're being homeschooled or not, you're gonna get they're going to get good things in their life, and you guys are both everybody's going to have healthy and happy relationships at that point, because we're working together to make sure everything is understood at an individual level, and that we all have to do things differently and understand things differently. And okay, so the last little thing I kind of wanted to throw in here, because I think we all kind of tend to tell secrets at some point in our life. And people take secrets, and I think this goes along with, people lying, and this goes along with people cheating and things like that, like we're keeping secrets from each other. And people take secrets in most cases. They don't take a lot of pride. They don't take a lot of pride in what their secret is. So for example, like I was just saying, this kind of, these all like coincide with each other. Like if you are cheating, or in this, whether it be in a test, or it be with a significant other, or it be, like anything related to your work or something like that, or cheating with the plagiarism on like the social media, like I was saying, stuff like that. The lies and everything, that nobody's going to really take pride in that at that point. So like if they do want to tell somebody, it's considered a secret, and I'm only going to tell certain people. That's kind of what makes it a secret. Like I'm only going to tell these certain people, so this is going to be a secret. And they may have picked, like I said, maybe one or two people that they honest to God confide in. And it could be a coworker, it could be a friend, it could be mom, dad, even, I mean, maybe people confide in their kids, I don't know. The secret is that some cases, people, it's going to be hard for them to even keep a secret. So it's like, why even tell anybody unless you're going to be honest, or take care of that secret, because you might go and tell somebody a secret. And like, for example, in my case, if somebody's going to tell me a secret, I'm like basically 100% like going to tell my boyfriend, because I tell him everything. So, it's not really going to be a secret for us, but like, I can tell him like, hey, this is a secret, and he never would ever say anything. But, um, and that's just like, and maybe like they're like, no, you absolutely can't, because it's going to affect this person or that, but then you're leaving that person like with that burden of like, oh my gosh, like now I'm basically lying to people, and like I can't tell the truth, and I have to cheat people of the truth. And, so why is it that people feel the need to share this with others? And it has to do with relationship building, keeping that relationship with someone. Maybe you, maybe that's how you build relationship with people. You're like, hey, I have this secret. And then if like, you can trust them with it, and you genuinely know you like that person, then that's how you know, do it. Or maybe and like I said, was mentioning about like getting closer with a significant other, or things like that. Secrets somehow bring people closer together, and then secrets also bring people apart, just like lies and cheating do as well.